Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi Showbie on the 30th of October, 2000 and something. 20, I believe it is. The year that the pandemic got us and destroyed the whole world, turned us into a molten rock and sent us flying into outer space. It may have been a different story that I read only this morning. Anyway, it's lovely to be here. I think I'm peaking a little bit. Am I peaking? Peaking. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? This is not the BBC. Hello, welcome to the Vobe Show. And it's lovely to see out there in the Vobosphere the lovely Julia, the lovely Judith, Andrew Norris. What ho! He says, I'm early for a change. We also have Ernie Sammet, nice to see you there, and J.K. Dutch is watching. Yes, J.K. Dutch. I assume that means that J.K. goes and pays for himself wherever he goes. The allotment channel is here, is cracking open a blue nun. Hope she doesn't mind. The pink monk, on the other hand, is equally happy. So that's good. Audrey Forbes Hamilton, evening, YouTube friends. Good evening. It's very nice. Mariette Genealogy says, hola from the antipodes. It's always nice those podes are completely anti, which is what we like to see. Roy Ballinger, hello to you. Ron Langley, Nigel Sadley. Nigel Sadley. Sorry, is that Nigel Sadley?
That's right, sir.
Oh, right. Nigel Sadler, I think it should be. He says, standing on the allotment channel with Sean James Cameron. Oh, nice. And Julia Hartless says, Joseph loves this music. Oh, good. I'll have to play it all over again. Peter Lowry is there. Mark Donny McLeod, it's always good to see you. Joseph and Mel, I like the music too. Oh, well, in that case, hold your horses, ladies and gentlemen. We'll just have another little bash of it. Let's see if I can fire it up. Is it this one? Anyway, that's enough of that gay banter. Yes, there we go. A little extra bit for you. Don't worry, I'll just cough up the extra money. Hang on, I mean, got a few pennies here. Let's have a look. What have we got? Probably an extra tuppence for that. There we are. Put it into the machine. Marvellous. We have Clive Waterfall. He's turned up. Lovely to see you. We also have Anna Jones. Anna Jones, not Alid Jones. I'm walking in the air. Not Alid Jones. Anna Jones. Glastonbury Gabriel is saying good evening to you, and Stacey is there. Mark Flinders, and Kate Evans. There we are. Kate Evans looking after all those animals across the world, which is great stuff. And thank you very much. We have a fun-packed show. Well, not so much fun, but we have a packed show of lovely, fun videos for you to play in today's show, which is great. Did you know tomorrow is Halloween? Woo, woo. Yes, it's Look After Your Owl Day. Woo, woo. Yes, all the owls that ever were go out at night and spook people. Woo, woo. Can you do a good owl impression? If you can, I'd like you to record it on some audio and send it in. Woo, woo. What kind of owl? Can you do the differentiation? Never mind. Yes, Halloween tomorrow, and it just so happens there is on the Bald Explorer channel. That's the channel that loves to sell these mugs, by the way. Lovely, lovely white mugs with a red picture on it and some words, which really is awkward to read on a camera. But they are available at huge cost, and every time you buy one, I get very little money in exchange. Far better that you make a donation at the baldexplorer.com website in large denominations than buying a mug. But if you are one of those mean people who don't want me to get much money but prefer to have a nice piece of fired china with glaze all over it and red luminous lettering that isn't actually luminous, that's the place to go. But yes, Halloween tomorrow, there is actually going to be a story. I'm not going to tell you any more than that, but there is a story coming to you. Halloween tale of... nothing terribly frightening at all, actually. But anyway, there it is. So that would be good. The tinkly music. Yes, the tinkly music. We have plenty of that. Anyway, can't have any more of that because we've got to move on. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I have been away, so apologies for being away and not being here, dutifully making sure that you're all entertained of an evening, which is very nice. I'm afraid to say I was out in my Ferrari. Sorry. Oh, my transit van. It goes like a Ferrari. One that's sort of box-shaped on wheels and isn't on a racetrack. And very clean and very sedately like a man in a milk float. That's how I want to treat my very expensive van that I got. So not a Ferrari at all. But to me, it's a Ferrari because it's new. Do you know, it's one of those vehicles that you actually have to press the clutch. Yeah, the clutch, in order to get it to start. All the other cars I've ever had, well, apart from the Morris Traveller, which actually had a starting handle that you would stick it in and go, and you'd be careful because the kickback once it goes. Yes, my Morris Traveller started with a starting handle, but all the others, a few of them had to have a choke on it. All right, I'll get going. All right, mate, I'll get going. A choke is always good fun. But most of the cars just, turn of the key was enough. But oh no, this modern car, not only is it you've got to stamp your feet at the same time and go, why won't you go? Why won't you go? You bloody... As soon as you put your foot on the clutch. Apparently it's a safety feature, so that you don't start it in gear. Because after all, we're all incredibly thick. We live in a society where cotton wool has to be put on everything. In fact, it's probably best that you turn off now in case I say something controversial or insulting. Because it could happen in your brain. Could explode. It really could. And we can't have that because the hospitals are going to be inundated, apparently. Absolutely. It doesn't matter. Don't worry that they have got these new hospitals that took up the NEC and XL up in on the Isle of Sheppey or wherever it was near, and the other places which are even further away. Don't worry about that because, yes, millions are going to be dying in the next few months. We're going to shut down, lock up and throw away the key. Nobody can go out in their van, go and earn a living, do anything. Because everybody's panicking. Oh, my God! Over nothing. Over nothing. Oh. But have no fear. The messages are coming through. It is like the real story, the real news is leaking. You cannot keep it in. The government are trying, and the what's his name, Ferguson bloke, they're all trying. Oh, don't let the truth come out, but it's coming out. Everywhere you see, the leakage is there. The real story, the truth about this stupid situation we're in is coming in, and it will eventually embarrass the government, and they'll have to go, oh my God, and probably take themselves off into a small cell and... So it's all good fun. Right, let's have a look at some of the comments, and we're going to show a couple of videos, and that's it. We can wrap it all up for another week. Oh, so joyous to be back, ladies and gentlemen, to insult your intelligence, say some rubbish, and then just go to bed. So what have we got here? Oh my God, Joseph got hold of my phone. I'm so sorry, Kate. Oh dear. That's Joseph. He is the senior moderator. He does like to delete everybody in the planet. He sits there with the phone going, oh, that's ding, 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 ho, 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 ding, 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 ding. And all these people, innocent people watching the Vobes show, boof, 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 boof. They just disappear in smoke. It's all good fun. Daryl Howell says, good evening, everyone. And good evening to you, Daryl. Lovely to see you. And Brainwash Chris. Hello, Brainwash Chris. He says, my neighbour's number plate is 2820. Fancy that. 2820. I asked him if he liked owls. He had no idea what I was on about. Woo, woo. When did you ask him about owls? Did you ask him about owls' bows? Owls' bows? Owls' bells. I don't know what I'm talking about. The executive producer is out there. Oh, my giddy aunt, the executive producer. Let me just point out, just for those who just need to know or don't care or will know when I open my mouth, the executive producer, so-called, doesn't produce my show executively or otherwise. And occasionally he comes in and just marks out when I've got a few apostrophes in the wrong place, like we have other things of importance to do. Don't you know there's a national crisis going on at the moment? But anyway, what do you say? Executive producer Richard has a van? Question mark. Question mark. Mark doesn't know. Don't ask him. I keep forgetting that he has hardly mentioned it. Yes, hardly mentioned it. It is the advancing age, you see, that one forgets when I've mentioned things. Robert Croser says, I like owls. Of course you do. Owls are lovely. How's yours, by the way? The Allotment Channel says, my bank account used to be password owl and code 282820. Oh, I see. That's his number. I've just suddenly got it. 28. There was I saying 2820. Went right over my head. Do we talk about owls? Yes. Yeah. So probably it's more of a verbal gag, I think, than a written down gag. Because I just read 2820, didn't I? 2820, which is not 2820. Or I could have said 2820, which again would have ruined it. Can't see a name there now, says Julia Hartley. Wrong Langley. Owls stretching time. Anyway, let's start with our very first video. As you know, I have a van. The executive producer may not realise that, but I do actually have a van now, and I've been travelling in the van. And I've met up with the very lovely Adrian. I don't know if he's out there. Is Adrian from Turbo Stream out there? Has he forgotten that we're on? Somebody go and wake him up, nudge him. He's up there in Birmingham. I've been to his house. I've sat down in his lovely, luxurious 20-bedroom mansion and had a nice cup of tea, in fact coffee it was, homemade, handmade by his own fairy fingers, and they were joyous fingers to watch, squeezing the lifeblood out of a little bean, a coffee bean, and then pouring on absolutely 100% boiling water to scald it. But it was a lovely cup of coffee, nonetheless, as you can imagine. So let's go into the video box and find out what Adrian is up to. If you're offended by vans, look away now.
Hello Vobesters, it's Adrian at Turbo Stream. We're out for a wander. We've come to Walton Hill and I can see the bold explorer doing his work. Let's have a look, see where we are. So this is the view we've got. Wonderful sunset at Walton Hill. We've just been shooting a couple of videos with the van. The light's gone really dark now, you can't really see much. And there he is, the bold explorer.
Wrapped up.
Wrapped up.
Warm.
It's lovely and cold up here, isn't it?
It is. It's not
I
blowing
know.
a gale, but it's chilly,
Yeah.
isn't it?
We've been doing the two van videos.
I've been out with the
We've got the old GoPro going on there.
GoPro
GoPro,
and my mirrorless.
mirrorless.
Just trying to put a couple of things.
We're both freezing cold.
Yeah.
So we've just been shooting a couple of videos. This is the view we've got. We'll do a quick pano of the wonderful countryside, but it's gone dark really. You can't really see Malverns there, but we've just done a Bold Explorer video. Look at that sunset, love it. Anyway, with that, it's back to the studio, back to his good self, the Richard Vobes.
Hopefully I'm there.
I have you there.
I'm not making tea. Oh, he's a nice bloke, is that Turbo Stream, isn't he? What a lovely chap. Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you, and thank you for showing me around up to the the Walton's Hill, or Walton Hill as it is. And we saw all those wonderful hills, and I put my video together, and when I put my video together I was away doing it on my laptop, and I was looking at the hills that you'd pointed to and the still pictures that I had taken of it and thought, I have no idea if they match up. Only Turbo will know, and they probably were all in the wrong thing. So when he pointed over there to the Malverns, it probably wasn't the Malverns. When he pointed over to Everest, it probably wasn't Everest. I don't know. And when he pointed to the Swiss Alps, who knows if the Swiss were even up there? Looked like a French flag to me. But there we are. That's what it's all about. Anyway, thank you so much, Adrian. Lovely to see your wonderful van again. And I've got a little bit more confident with my van. Yes, I can sell ice creams out the back of it, which is lovely. This is the perfect season for selling ice creams. Ice cream, ice cream, woo, 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 woo. I thought I might use an owl as the chimes as I go around the town selling ice creams in the winter. Woo, 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 woo. Ice cream, ah! Sorry if you like screams. You can get quite a few screams tomorrow. It's Halloween scream time. All good fun. What else have we got there? Unfortunately, Kate has disappeared. Kate, you were accidentally muted by the top executive producer, which is Joe. He grabbed hold of Julia's phone and accidentally pressed your button, but you are there. Do let us know that you're there. You were muted, but somehow you will come back. I don't know how that works, actually. I assume you can be unmuted. I don't know if it's something that I need to do. Anyway, that was a crawling video, says Days of Yore. A crawling video. He said some very nice things to me, which is good. What else we got? Rick M, great. And Robert Croser said, he's a hard taskmaster, MDM. He certainly is. And Clive Waterfall is, if you have been affected by any of the van-related issues featured in tonight's Vobe show, yes, call the Vanguard, and they will come and guard you from any van stories coming along. TurboStream says, they didn't, Richard, but it didn't matter. Good. See you in the spring, Turb, says Robert Croser, and van aerial disease, which is something you don't want to get. And hopefully, if you don't sniff the screen too quickly, you won't get any from the show. Particularly if you put one of those masks up your bum. Turbo says, hopefully, Robert, I will be headed north when this COVID thing is in the past. It's already in the past, to be honest with you. I don't know whether you've seen any of the figures, but nobody's actually dying from it. We don't have people dropping down in the streets. There may be a few cases. In fact, I heard on the news only this morning that there are more cases of it. And I thought, thank God. Thank God. We should have, the more cases there are, the more people who's had it and not died and not been troubled by it, the more we're all immune, and it'll be a thing of the past. If we just keep hiding it away, then we've still got to deal with it when the winter comes. So it's a ridiculous situation. Right, I think we'll have another look into our wonderful little thing, and then we'll put the telephone line on in case somebody wants to call in and start causing a stir. And you'll be very welcome to cause a stir. After all, I didn't have a teaspoon, and one needs to have a good stir with a teaspoon. You may remember the other day or a week or so ago, the lovely TurboStream, as you may remember, put some of his photographs, and he's a very good photographer, to music, and it looked really good. Well, David Keel thought, I can do that, you know, and he's been out to, I think it's to Bognor, and he's put some nice pictures together at Bognor Regis. Never mind what, who was it, George the Fourth, who said, bugger Bognor? Well, don't bugger it, just watch some of David Keel's stuff. There we go. Bognor Regis, like you've never seen it before. Looking beautiful. Indeed. Amazing colours there. Going out at sunset can give you some terrific photography. And it's easy enough to do. Well, it's not. David Keel is an expert, of course. Thank you so much, David, for sending that in. But I think you've inspired plenty of people to go out over the weekend and use their phones or cameras and what have you. You haven't got to do a massive story or anything. Just go and take some pictures, bung it to a nice piece of music. By the way, that music, very hypnotic. I could listen to that all evening. And as I'm sure most of the viewers out there would rather listen to that than listen to me. That's just a fait accompli, I'm afraid. But yeah, you could go out and do that very easily. Take some nice pictures of the local area where you are, shove it to a bit of music, encode it all up at 720p and send it in to me. That would be absolutely fantastic. Why not? Give it a whirl. And we will show it here on the UK's fastest growing load of old nonsense that broadcasts on the internet. Yes, I say fastest growing. I've no idea. I tried watering the show, but actually it just made the electronics fizz. I don't know if that's beneficial or not. But anyway, we're still here. We may have been away for a few days, but I come bouncing back to annoy you. You've had a nice, quiet time. Let's have a look and see what people are saying then. Looking forward to it, says TurboStream. Mark Donny McLeod says, I'm in Tier 3, masked up, and unless I'm going walking around the moors early in the morning with a brew or in the moor. Don't go on to the moors, Mr. Stapleton. The phone line, shall we open up the phone lines and see if anybody wants to give us a tinkle? We'll see what happens. Have you got something to say? Who knows? 0793 474 6790. We've got a choice of subjects. You can talk about anything you like. We can talk about Brexit, if you like. We haven't spoken about Brexit, but that is still ongoing. What about the election? There's an election in America. That's always a good, exciting topic to talk about. Of course, there's COVID. That's another topic at the moment. Maybe we'll ban those three things. I think maybe we'll ban that. You can talk about vans. We're all right about that. It's a safe subject. Everybody loves a little bit of vans. Even Van Diesel loves a bit of vans. Although, I put diesel in my van. I wonder if he'd go and push it for me if I conk out. 0793 4746 heaven 90. It was lovely to see Fran and Rich from Floating Our Boat the other day. Had a fantastic time. They fed me on their boat as they were moored up. And it was a bit cheeky, really, because they moored up at this place next to, it was near Brood, but I think it was Ashton Wheatley or some such place, something like that. Very nice place. And a whole load of other boaters were there, and there was this car park next to a shower block and things. They said, would you be able to park here? It's in the middle of nowhere. So I arrived, and the first thing I saw was, of course, when you come in by narrowboat, you don't see it, but coming down the lane, I did see the signage, and it said, permit holders only. And I drove down the lane thinking, well, maybe this isn't where they meant. And when I eventually saw them, I said, you do know there's a sign up there that says permit holders only. And they said, we hadn't really appreciated that. But fortunately, there are a couple of burly CRT blokes. CRT, that's the Canal and Rivers Trust. And Fran just went up and said, it's all right if my mate parks his van here, it won't be long. And they went, well, you shouldn't really. Well, we're lodged up here. We're fully members of the canal. We've got a canal boat and all the rest of it. And, it's come to, yeah, all right then. They didn't have a gate on the little lane going down there, so they weren't going to be there all night to police it. So they buggered off fairly quickly. And I managed to sleep there on me a Todd. We have a phone call coming in. Let's find out who it is. Who is that calling in on the Vobes show?
Good evening.
Good gracious. Is it Glastonbury Gabriel?
It might be.
It might be. How the devil are you? Long time no see.
No, I thought I'd ring up because I've missed you. It's been so long. And to apologise for the video I sent in having no sound on it apart from the soundtrack.
Yes. Just explain to the lovely viewer that Gabriel sent in another of his magnificent videos, and I always preview everything just in case, that people like Gabriel suddenly strip off and go, because you never know, it could happen.
You wouldn't want to see that.
No, that's exactly it.
Nobody.
I didn't.
Nobody
deserves that treatment. And I thought, well, I better check. And then I was watching it, and I thought, it's a nice bit of music. Oh, there's a chap talking. Oh, I can't hear him, but there's a chap. And there's. Oh, wait a minute. There's nobody talking. No atmosphere. No nothing. Just the music. So I thought I'd double check with you, and you'd obviously rendered it off with the other tracks in mute.
I know.
Can happen.
It can.
It can
No
happen.
excuse, I should have checked it.
No worry, don't worry about that. But good job I did. So we can't play that in tonight's show.
No, we can't.
But instead we get your dulcet tones live.
Yes.
So what have you been up to since I last saw you?
Well, it's been such a long time. I've been working on some videos, one of which you can't show because it's got no records in it. That's some bits and pieces. I worked on a couple of bikes that you might have seen laying around the lounge, and that's it, really.
Oh, busy then. Busy.
Yeah.
Have you been on your... Glastonbury Gable showed me this incredible computer program when I was up there with this Cessna or something, little small light aircraft.
Oh, yes.
Flying round the world. He was in the... what is it? A flight simulator or something?
Yes.
Yeah. And amazingly, it's mapped the whole world... So you can look down and you can swoop in and you can find things. So we, just as a bit of a laugh, went down and took off from Lancing Airport and flew along past the Shoreham Fort, and we went up to the pier, turned round, went over Sisbury Ring, up to Chantonbury Ring, and the first thing I said is, "Wait a minute, it's just all the trees on this 3D." Visualization were fir trees, and there were some on the beach in Lancing. Fir trees. They
were on the groins.
On the groin.
You don't want trees in your groins.
No,
that's the last thing you want.
certainly don't want nasty twigs on there.
Not a good look. Not a good look.
And the 1930s, very classic and famous control tower at Shoreham Airport was not there. Was represented by a lot of very square boxes, a very Americanized town and all of that. And I'm afraid I was quite critical, wasn't I?
However, you didn't mention that we were flying around and you said, oh, yeah, you could, and you knew where you were. You said, oh, there's the football pitch. You could actually see enough to fly around and find your way around on it, couldn't you?
Yes, I could. I mean, the pier was missing. There was no Worthing pier. I don't know where that had gone. This is a new programme, isn't it, by somebody?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
And it's just launched, and it's £25 billion, but you managed to get a copy for nothing.
A pound. Just for a pound.
Just for a pound?
Try it out.
From Poundland?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I don't know. I mean, it's not the sort of thing that I could sit down and do and do a simulation of anything, really. I'd rather go and do the real thing. But maybe there's people out there who do play these sort of things, these games, and get a kick out of flying a piece of...
Oh, there are.
What would I call it? Pixelated colours on a screen. And you had some sort of plastic throttle thing.
A joystick, yes.
A what stick?
A joystick.
Oh, a joystick.
A stick that brings you joy, yes.
Yes. No, but it was more than a joystick, wasn't it? It was like...
Well, it had a throttle on it, yeah.
It had a throttle on it?
Yes, I've had it for years. I used to like flying Spitfires and things like that and shooting Germans down and stuff.
Gosh. All the way from World War II?
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, I like flying Spitfires.
It's amazing. I didn't think they had that sort of plastic stuff in real Spitfires, but there you go.
Not in no, they didn't. I see what you did there.
All good fun. But anyway, it was interesting to see it on your massive screen.
No television screen.
Yeah, wraparound screen.
Wraparound, yes. It's not a very good resolution, but it does.
Well, I thought it was that long thin thing.
Oh no, that's my monitor that I work on. That's my editing monitor. Yes, I bought that about 3 years ago when I went out to
Oh, okay. Very nice, very nice. Anyway, that was all good. And thank you very much for taking me out to the Italian restaurant.
That was a pleasure.
We sat down in this Italian restaurant for hours eating olives and spaghetti and what other things? What other red tomatoes, sun-dried tomato, and Mediterranean diet it was. But they said, sorry, you can't have any of that. You've got to have a pizza. So
we had a pizza.
so we did have a pizza, and you took me to your mate, the up northern, what's his name? Steve.
The burger van.
In the burger van for breakfast.
Mm.
And I've only just recovering now, but it was very nice. Thank you very much.
It did have a certain effect.
It did. I've managed it. When I went to Morrison's, they said, you're not stocking up. Do you know something about, are we going down into lockdown? Because I had about 600 tons of toilet paper. I said, no, I've been to Steve's burger van. And they said, oh, yeah, I know exactly what you mean, mate. Yeah. We have a run of those. Yeah. I said, you should have told us. We would have sorted you out. My poor old portable loo in the van. Golly, how many times have I changed that cassette that night? Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. I did put a cassette in by mistake, but it was one of those mega mixes I'd made up in the 70s. That didn't really do the thing I wanted it to do.
Oh, sort of crapping on Mantovani and that sort of thing.
Yeah, Mantovani was... and Vangelis.
Vangelis, yeah.
Yeah, well, it was appropriate for my van, you see.
Vangelis.
Yeah, you get it?
That would be right.
Another van joke in there. Oh, dear.
Absolutely.
Andrew Norris says it's the one that counts. Turbo Stream says, how much have you won, Andrew? And Nigel Sadler says, don't burst their little bubble, Julia Hartley. That is the latest in the comments coming up. If you made any sense of that, you're a better man than I am, Gungered in. So what's...
I know nothing about bubbles.
What's the next project from you, Gabriel?
I had this guy come down with a coracle the other day.
Oh.
And I filmed some of that, so that's going to come out at some point. I'm going to go back and I'm going to redo the Cathedral Part 5 with some sound in it.
Nice, that would be good.
Maybe Part 6 as well and Part 7 while I'm
Oh, my God, how many parts are there?
I don't know. I mean, it was a 2-hour tour. It was a very thorough tour. I mean,
yeah.
The actual final video on YouTube is probably going to be split into 2 or 3 episodes, but I mean... It is everything. It is a tour of everything in that cathedral, pretty much.
Remember the old adage, though, Gabriel. Remember the old adage: leave them wanting more.
Yeah. So halfway around the tour, I'll stop.
Yeah, that's it. Well, otherwise, otherwise they can't go, can they? I mean, they would have seen it all. It's always good. It's always good to hold stuff back. Not a lesson that I've ever learnt myself, of course.
But having said that, of course. There are people who maybe can't go or would like to walk around there and can't.
Yes, that's
the other side of that coin, I guess.
Yes, yeah, I never look at that side of that coin. I think that's a murky side that should have been left in the mud, but there you are. That's what you do with a metal detector. Brilliant. Well, we can't show your video, but we can show somebody else's video.
Let's do that then, shall we?
Shall we do? Thank you very much for calling in. It's lovely and thank you for being a marvellous host and looking after me.
My pleasure.
But pushing me out at 10:30 and saying, go on, sleep in your old cold van. You're not staying in my sofa.
I did do that. It was great watching you sitting out there freezing.
Yeah, did you see the van sort of shake as I was shivering?
I did.
Yeah.
I heard your teeth chattering.
Did you? That was me cursing you, going, God, the bigger man. Why? Swine. We had great fun. And thank you very much for helping me float my coracle.
Oh, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure watching you drift out to the lake. It was one of those true moments.
Yes. What did you think, by the way, what did you think of my strange afterthought that if I fell into the peat, would I have actually sunk down quite considerably? Was it a dangerous, foolish thing to do?
I honestly, that had never entered my mind, and I do not know the answer. I mean, the banks were firm.
Yes.
And they were quite water-laden, so I don't know.
Don't know.
I don't know.
Probably very foolish. I wouldn't recommend anybody else doing it. Plus the fact it took us nearly all day to find a spot where we could get in because it was all private.
Absolutely. Everywhere's private. Keep off my land.
Get off my land there. Somerset levels. There's none of your business.
Wait, get my gun. There's a couple of hippies down here. The black vans. I think I'm going to shoot these buggers. Arrgh.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll say goodbye to Gabriel Glistonby. And we'll
goodbye to Richard Vobes.
Speak to him very soon. Take care, Gabriel.
Talk soon, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There we are. That was the lovely Gabriel, and he looked after me. And he's coming down. He's coming down to Worthing. I believe Sean James Cameron is making a little jaunt down here on a business trip. And he said, I will come and see you when I pop down on my business trip, which will be fantastic. Which will be lovely. Executive producer, sometime later, says apostrophes are very important. I think we moved on from that. Andrew Norris says some of Gigi's drone footage of Richard in his coracle was rather nice. It was nice. What he didn't capture was me in the coracle with my little Bunsen burner heating up a nice cup of coffee. I wonder if it's a sensible thing to put the little cooking stove in the coracle. I could have just managed to got it by my side. It would have been lovely. Sit out there on a big lake, light the stove, have a nice cup of coffee, put your feet up, doze off, float away into the neversphere. The Allotment Channel says that just think about the content thought if you had sunk. Yes, think about it. Yes, the channel would have, if I'd sunk and drowned, I think there may have not been many more videos thereafter. Mark Donny McLeod says, float my coracle. There's a new euphemism. Talking of Mark Donny McLeod, ladies and gentlemen, let's just have a look in the video box and see what came in earlier today. It wasn't that one I meant to play. It was this one.
Ah, there it is. Hello, will be. Right. I got this and I thought this might be just right for you. Look at this. Just right for your van. And it comes on a little carabiner too. Excellent stuff. I'll see if I can sort one out for you. Alright. Good to see the van's going. Good to see you getting out. Up the Vobes. Where's that button?
Where's the button? Mark, that would be fantastic. I love it. I could do with one of those dangling above me bald pate. How smashing would that be? And presumably it's an LED, is it? Is it battery operated? Because I didn't see any leads. Brilliant. Love it. Fantastic. Please, please, please. Oh, I beg you. Now, please don't think I'm trying to rinse money out of you, but if you're able to send it down, that would be superb. And I don't know if Fiona or Mary Hammond is watching. Fiona, Mary, Fiona, whichever way around it is. I've sent you the lovely burgundy jumper that I purchased from you only the other week. Back to you. It was horrible. I hate it. No. I snagged it. Ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful jump. This is one of Mary Fiona's. This is a lovely one. I've been wearing this non-stop. It's absolutely beautiful. It's lovely and warm, and it looks great on camera. But I have two others. You may have seen them in the videos. One is a burgundy, and the other is a lovely mustard colour. But the burgundy one, I stupidly was just walking out into the garden, and I hit something on the side of a shed thing, and it just snagged and cut the wool, and there's a little hole. I thought, oh, I've only had it 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Excuse me. And so I rang Mary up immediately. I said, Mary, quite contrary, how do you fix this woolen jumper? She said, oh, for goodness sake, no problem. Send it back. I'll have it done in a jiff. And actually, I sent it in a jiffy bag. So you should get it tomorrow, Mary. Sent it first class. So, and I'll be so thrilled. It was such a lovely one. And the lovely Julia said, oh, it don't half suit you. It suits you, she said. She didn't actually do that weird hand movement, but she said it suits me. So I can't wait to get it back. The yellow one is still in the van, actually, from the day we filmed the bit about cooking in the van. And I put it in a box in a safe place, and then I forgot about it. So I need to go and retrieve that perhaps tomorrow and wear it in another video because it's nice and bright on these cold days. So thank you so much, Mary. So kind of you. And I'd hate people to think that I'm doing a bit of rinsing. So that's good. What else have we got? Daisy of Yours says, I don't rightly know. And Mike Stevens says, hello, Audrey. We're up to date with the comments there. So, yeah, Mark Donny McLeod, I think that's a great thing. What other things do I need for my van? I'm very interested to get some more van gear so that next time I go out, there's always something new to show you whilst I'm poncing about in the land of the Vandersphere. With my van. Of course, we may all get shut down and locked up and breathing through rags for the rest of time. Who knows? Let's hope not. Let's have a look what else we've done. So we've seen a bit of Adrian. We've been to David Keel's place. Wilf Meyer is asking an interesting question at the back of end of this film, and I don't rightly know. I don't think we do, but maybe we do. See if you can answer it. Wilf, take it away.
Hello, Wilf here. Here's a short video of a cranberry farm I came across last week. Cranberries are grown in special fields that are designed to be flooded to create a pond. And when the cranberries are ready for harvest, these fields are flooded, and this allows a special thrashing machine to knock the berries off the plant. And this way they float on the top of the water, and then the workers can direct the berries using booms, and they direct them into containers for processing. And so I'm curious, do you have cranberry farms in England? Bye for now.
So there's a question for you, isn't it? Do we have cranberry farms in England? I'm not sure. I mean, I've never seen any. That's not to say they don't happen. I mean, I've never seen a wild boar, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. So I'd like to know, what do you think? Give us a call if you know the answer, or turn the camera completely off. There is that option. How do we get back up here? Like this, like that. There we go. 0793 4746 790 is the answer. Give us a call if you've seen one. Thank you so much, Wilf. That was absolutely interesting. I never knew they floated. Did you know that? I mean, you probably did. You're more intelligent than I am. But I never knew they floated on those open ponds and that they make the land so that they can deliberately flood them. I wonder how long that all takes and how they grow and what time of year. What do you have cranberries with? Do you have cranberries? Do you like the cranberry juice that you can get in the supermarkets and other shops, of course, the little shops, don't forget the poor little shops on the corner there that do sell all sorts of stuff. Are they made from concentrate? Are they just genuine cranberries that are crushed? How does it work? Let me know. Fascinated to find out. What do you eat them with? Do you eat them? Can you eat them in berry? Presumably you can just gnaw them. I know there's things like cranberry jelly that you have with. What is it you have it with? Is it with pork or is it lamb? Lamb and cranberries. Mark Donny McLeod says, nice stuff, Wilf. Must say I'm partial to cranberry juice. Yes. Nigel Sadler says that's extraordinary. Almost an April Fool type thing. Yes, I didn't see a spaghetti tree at all. And Jeff Kellerson says, I've raked £1 million of them in Classop Country, Oregon in my youth. That must be an American thing then. Linda Kane says, I think there was a cranberry farm in Kent at one point. I'm not sure it still exists. But we do have a phone call. Let's find out who it is. Hello to the caller on the show.
It's Sean from London.
Ah, Sean James Cameron. How are you?
Just to let you know that Mockbeggar Farm near Rochester in Kent is the UK's only cranberry farm.
Ah, there we go. Linda Kane has just said, I think there is a cranberry farm in Kent at one point. Not sure if it's still there, though, and clearly it is. What's it called again? Mockbeggar?
Mockbeggar.
Mockbeggar.
What a name.
Well, it's not. So it's a mock beggar, not a real beggar.
Exactly. Apparently the plants are in pots rather than in the ground.
Oh, I see. So what, do they in water?
Not from what I can see of this article that I'm looking at.
Is it? Are they? So it's not like watercress, because it looked very much like watercress. And this thresher that Wilf showed us, goes round and
video of that.
Yeah.
Well, this guy on Mockbeggar Farm called John.
Yes.
He's growing them more in the strawberry tradition, where the strawberries are about 5 foot off the ground.
Oh, right.
But whether they flood them, I can't seem to find that out.
Brainwash Chris says cranberries are floated and harvested as you don't have to let them linger. So
And then if they crush them, you get cranberry juice.
yes, of course. Yeah, yeah. And it's supposed to be one of these superfoods, isn't it? These cranberries. They're supposed to be very, very good for you.
It is, but I'm just reading this now, and apparently he says we pick each berry by hand, so they can't be in water. Well, unless they've got a pair of waders on.
Yeah, well, they may well do, of course. I mean, I guess what does the water do? I mean, it's not like a paddy field, is it? You don't get too
No.
many Irish in there.
Maybe it, well, you don't know what you get in the water these days, do you?
No, that's very true.
People going up and down the farm with their coracles.
Yes, yes. Round here we
harvesting
get.
the berries as you go.
You never know. Pete's often in the water, I'm sure. Another cup of tea, Robert, says Andrew Norris. Robert Croser says stronger than cider. Jeff Kellison says howdy from home. So that's it. Oh, I get it, Inga, a song by the Cranberries. Goodness, that took me far too long. I don't know what that means. Cranberry stuffing for the bird. Ah, yes. Is that at Christmas time? Cranberry stuffing.
Yes, I think that's the only time that I have it, with a bit of turkey.
With a bit of turkey, yeah. Because every so these things have that, like mint goes with lamb, doesn't it? And cranberries with turkey.
Well, there's a question open for discussion now. Will you be having a Christmas Day dinner with 6 or 7?
6 or 7. What sausage? Oh, people. 6 or 7. What is the limit? 6.
It's 6, but apparently the police will come through your door and evict if there's more than 6 people there.
When you say evict, you mean they'll throw one of them out?
Yeah, apparently it was in the paper. The police are going to come and bang on the door and check.
Well,
have you got more than 6 in there?
I'd find that very hard to believe, really. All of this is unpoliceable.
Well,
I mean, a lot of the police will be actually sitting down to having their dinner as well, and I dare say there may be more of them. I mean, are you allowed to have more than 6 in the workplace?
Yes, and something that I've discovered over the last few days in London, because that's where I am.
Is it really?
A lot of people are now going to cafes because they've sussed out the cafes are selling beer.
Ah, cafes are selling beer.
Because from what I was told was the local pubs, because they know a lot of people that go there and they know that guy doesn't belong to that guy, so they shouldn't be sat together. People are going to the cafes instead, and they're ordering like the cheapest thing on the menu. So they're ordering, I don't know, a burger with several pints.
Good for them. I love this subordination. I mean, it's within the law, and they're just finding loopholes. I think that's absolutely brilliant.
Yes, and
and it should be encouraged. This is the British spirit. This is the British way. We will not be kept down.
They've just been fined because they've got the what's it called, the PPI, but they put it on.
Yes,
and because it's in a cafe, they steam up quite quickly. So they just put it so that it's how can I describe? They lift the visor up,
yes,
so it's no good to anybody. But apparently, the councillor went in there and is trying to shut the place down at the moment.
These killjoys, I don't understand.
But like they were trying to say, well, how can you cook food with a visor up?
Yes. Yes, well, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Nobody's dying from it. It's all a load of old toddle. Mike Stevens says, I think cranberries can grow outside in the UK. Is there a certain climate that they need? Do you know anything about cranberries?
No, but I would imagine they're the same as blueberries.
Right.
And you can grow them outside. And in fact, I've still been picking up until about last week because it's been so mild.
Has it? Yeah, I remember last year was very mild, wasn't it?
Well, the winters now are more February, March time.
Right. Oh, good.
So we've got quite a while to go yet before the real winter kicks in. It's a perfect weather for a business trip to the seaside and have a soggy chip on as you watch the sea and watch people come across on their caragos.
Do you know, I think that's such a perfect idea. You should do that. You should come down for sample some real fish and chips down on the beach and maybe have an ice cream as well. It's so mild.
Well, I've actually got a business trip on the cards for next week, so who knows? I might bump into you in the high street.
Yes, there we are. And make sure you're wearing your full
I'll have
PPE
my mask on
with
that you'll be able to see me.
I want you to have not only your mask, but I want you to have a bucket and spade over your head, and a nice handkerchief with knots in, and a Kiss Me Quick hat. That's the way we get rid of COVID down here. We've been doing it for years. Nobody down here gets COVID because they've got these knotted handkerchiefs. Works a treat. Not only that, we sit on the deck chairs and we don't move. The deck chairs are miles from anybody.
I will go and see if I can find a knotted handkerchief, and I will. In fact, I think I've got a plastic one somewhere. I'll bring that down.
A plastic knotted handkerchief?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, anyway, lovely talking to you. Take care. Look after yourself.
See you next week.
Yes. Take it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There we are. Sean James Cameron with a genuine knotted plastic handkerchief. What could be worse? Does anyone grow fruit, says Mike Stevens, inquiring. And TurboStream says, I grow raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, Mike, plus hopefully gooseberries. Snotty handkerchief. Yes, if you put a snotty handkerchief over your face, you're still allowed into the major supermarkets, which is a jolly good thing. It's that time for Peter Lowry and some old books.
Hello everyone. Just carrying on from the previous video that I made about books that I've recently bought. And I've got one here which I think is really interesting. It's Every Boy's Book of British Natural History. Lovely old book. It's from 1907. There's a picture here of a snake on the cover. And it's all about bird watching and watching animals and trees, plants, all sorts of things. And it's, to start with, it tells you what you need to have to go. You know, what sort of things you need, like a camera and all that. And it's here, it's make a camera for a few shillings. Don't go out and buy one, but how you'd make one. A sort of vintage box camera like that. Here's all the bits and pieces you need. Put it together and it should look something like that. But apart from birds, it's got all of that. It's got trees, a mole, hedgehog, and here it's how to make a tank to keep fish and water insects in. And here go on to the birds, bullfinch and a young cuckoo. But it also tells you quite a lot about each different bird as well. Like here it's got chaffinch, and you'd see them in April onwards, and where you'd find them. All these different birds, and here it's got about frogs, snakes, frog spawn, tadpoles. There's a snake, what's that? A grass snake. And it's got flowers. And here, trees. All sorts of different trees and plants, butterflies. And a stag beetle there. All sorts of interesting things in it. Lovely old book from 1907. And I also got this is from 1911. Lovely old book, Longfellow's Poetical Works. It's leather with gold around the edge of the pages. Lovely old book there. Somebody has it at present, September the 29th, 1911. Lovely old book, there it is. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, full of poetry. Some are short, Got quite a lot of short poems here, but some of them are pages long. A really nice old book in very good condition again. And also another book I got from 1951, and it's in very good condition. It's for 70 years old. It's Tommy Lawton's All-Star Football book. Now, I'm no big football fan, but it's a really interesting book. One, it's got all these pictures of footballers, how they dressed in big shorts. And it's got all the history of all the different clubs up until, of course, when the book was done in 1951, from when they were founded. And it's also got a lot of clubs in which have now, well, certainly disappeared, like Gateshead, Halifax, who've certainly disappeared from league football. Lovely old interesting book in very good condition. Anyway, I hope you liked them, because I think they're really good. And the next video I'll do a few more, because I've bought quite a few old books of late. Anyway, bye.
Fantastic. There we are, the ever wonderful Peter Lowry with his collection of old books. Wonderful stuff to see. It's interesting looking at that, the football. No, I'm not into football in any shape or form. But I wonder if back in those days, in the 1950s, that the footballers actually came from the towns they are supposed to represent, instead of being from all over the blooming world, and whoever's got the most money can get the most expensive footballers. And also whether what the wages were like back then. I'd be fascinated to know how it used to be. Probably a lot more genuine as a football thing, a bit like supporting your local team and not just the best of the best. I mean, it just seems a weird thing. But anyway, I'm not into football, so everyone's got their opinion on that, which is superb. Mark Donny McLeod says, I used to do well with them. I don't know what he's talking about. What else? Tommy Lawton, Rigsby, favourite player, says Robert Croser. I expect Stanley Matthews is in there, whoever he is. And Nobby Styles passed away today, says Graham Cass. And Edward Moulding says, Richard, please, did you to activate the passenger airbag, deactivate the airbag when travelling with little Joe in his rear-facing seat in front of the van? Well, when he's in the middle, that's a good point, actually. There is a passenger seat which is opposite in the passenger seat, but then there's the middle seat, which I believe doesn't have an airbag at all. So I think that's okay. So if there's an accident, he can at least get catapulted out of the window and not have an airbag suffocate him to death. You know, it's the best of both worlds you get with that. Mike Stevens says, wonderful and informative video. Absolutely fantastic. Amazing amount of poems in there for Longfellow. He certainly wrote a long lot of fellows. Yeah, he did. 1911, that's amazing. And Jeff Kellison says, Andrew, my apologies to TLJ. Have you ever had boar? Tastiest thing I ever ate. And Andrew Norris says, sorry to hear that about Nobby Styles, whoever he was. Is he the bloke who invented, was he a walker and invented the styles that you cross on the country? No, probably not. And Peter Lowry says, much thanks for your comments. Brilliant stuff. Looking forward to the next one, Peter. You get some amazingly interesting books. But what's fascinating, that boy's book of nature, and you wonder how many, somebody said how many of those insects and birds and creatures are still with us. Probably not very many, certainly fewer and barely seen. But also the fact that kids of that age back then would read that sort of material. Now they don't read anything about nature and have no idea what creatures are out there, because even if they did, they wouldn't see them. So it's such a shame. That was brilliant. Thank you so much. We're whistling through. We've got quite a few videos to get through. We're nearly done now, actually. Got a couple more to go. Richard McGowan has been, I believe, to Yorkshire. Whilst I was picking up my van, he said, I was getting up to this. Conkers, you're bonkers. How lovely. There we are, a bit of Yorkshire countryside, the lovely stream, their beautiful bridge and this sculpture that everyone's talking about. Absolutely fantastic. Lovely to see all of that. And thank you so much, Richard and Anis, for sending that in. It's so nice to see these other parts of the world that I have as yet been unable to go to, but hopefully we'll be able to journey around with the new van. I'm very much looking forward to that, mostly next year. Hopefully when we've opened up the country and Boris has realised that actually this COVID nonsense is not really any more than annual flu, and everything gets back to some sort of normality. But in the meantime, wherever you are, send us a little bit of your country, your county, your countryside, your town, your place, and we'll share it here. It's almost sometimes a bit like a travel show on this, where the roving reporters go. I know that Richard and Anison were not from Yorkshire, and so they'd been over there. But beautiful light as well, lovely. This is that time at the moment for wonderful sunsets and wonderful sunrises. Somebody pointed out that in a video I said I wanted to go to places and get up early in the morning so I can see the sunset. And obviously that was clearly a slip of the tongue there. But sunrises are easier to do because they're so late now. You can have a good old lie in and still get up in time to see the sunrise. So there are lovely countryside, says Dave Ford, in the countryside at the moment. By the way, Dave Ford has managed, he sent me an email earlier today saying he's got 500 subscribers and it's a ding ding, well marked occasion. Well done to you, Dave Ford. Keep going, keep pumping out those videos of the lovely country walks that you do. He's got his latest one there, and if you're not following him, go and follow him on Dave's Country Walks or whatever. Put it in the description, your actual title, but just put Dave Ford and Logan the Whippet, and I'm sure it'll come up on YouTube. and follow his walks. It's always good fun to do that. I got told off the other week when I was promoting, I can't remember, somebody else's channel. I don't mind, as long as I don't, sit here promoting everybody. It doesn't matter. Once in a blue moon, I think we can do that. So there, that was great. Marvellous stuff. Well, now, I don't know if you remember, before I got my van, in the days when I had an ordinary car, and on my live, I'd been reading about the incredible Walter Wilkinson, who back in the 1930s was pushing this barrow around the different parts of the countryside. And I'm very thrilled to say, I don't know if Justin Jones is out there, but I'm just going to reach up here. Thanks to a number of you for sending in these rather fantastic books. We now have the Sussex Peep Show, which actually, oh yes, it's here. Sussex Peep Show, which is what we read fairly recently. I've now got Vagabonds and Puppets, which is part of the collection. A Peep Show, the original book by Walter Wilkinson, where he goes down into Devon. And this one, which came through the other day from Justine Jones, Puppets Through Lancashire, which was absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much to all of you who sent those in to me. That you've been very, very kind. Michael White also sent in one or two of them, I can't remember now, and Linda Kane, I think, sent one of them in. So it's a really lovely collection. Now, we're hoping at some point to recreate, certainly in one video, let me just plonk these back up here, recreate. I'm following in the footsteps of the Sussex Peep Show, and I should be going out when the sun comes out again and the rain stops, and do a few more of some of his places that he visits. But at some point, I'm hoping to team up with Andrew Norris. As you know, Andrew Norris is a very good and renowned artist, and he's living in Croatia at the moment. But he comes back from time to time, and when the aeroplanes are allowed to fly again and we can have visitors to the UK, and perhaps in the spring when it's warmer, I'm hoping to team up with Andrew, and together we're going to make a film following in the footsteps of, but this time with a barrow and some form of Punch and Judy setup, just like Walter would have had, with puppets. And you may remember on the show a week or so ago, Andrew Norris started making some of those puppets, these hand glove puppets. I used to do it when I was a kid at primary school. I used to love making these puppets and doing them. It was great fun. But I wasn't an expert by any means, but Andrew is certainly. Well, he's got an update. Very excited to see the update on Andrew Norris's and his puppet making. So let us quickly just nip into the old video box and find out a little bit more about the puppets when they start to come alive.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Better with eyes to see you and a mouth to speak.
What is your name?
I don't know.
Why don't you know?
Because I'm a papier-mâché puppet.
I see. Let's give you a temporary name. How about Mara?
Yes, I like Mara. Who is she?
She was my neighbour in the village.
Was she a nice person?
I thought so. She loved to sing.
I love to sing too.
You do? Well, let's hear you then.
Okay.
What are you going to sing for us?
Ja sam se te pjesme sjetila kad sam se probudila, pa sam mjesec vidjela. Onda sam se sjetila pjesme Mjesec jao kad sam konje krao. Mjesec jao kad sam konje krao, zalazio kad sam je prodao. Oj mjeseče bekrio, sve sam pare zapio, zapio sam sve hiljade zbog djevojke mlade. Oj mjeseče bekrio, sve sam pare zapio, zapio sam sve hiljade zbog djevojke mlade.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. How lovely. Beautiful to see the puppets coming alive and speaking, especially on video. You know, it's very much a live thing that you go and see, but it actually works quite well on video. The sense of what is it when you dispel disbelief, or whatever the phrase is. It's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Andrew. Looking forward. And he says he's working on the next one, so soon we'll have the puppets up and running, and then at some point, as I say, we'll get together and we'll do the puppet show. We'll follow in the footsteps of Walter Wilkinson and go to somewhere that he's been to and erect the booth, and not wreck the booth, erect the booth. Maybe get a little audience together. Maybe you want to be part of that audience. We'll let you know when we're doing it, and it would be great fun to recreate that. How marvellous. So there we go. That's all we've got time for in tonight's show. Thank you very much for all the wonderful videos that people have sent in. That's very, very kind of you. I really appreciate it. It makes a show. It really does. Nobody wants to hear me spout out a whole load of nonsense and rubbish, but your videos really make the show. So please keep them coming. If you've never done it before, it is very easy. You only need to do it on your phone. You don't have to go to any great editing skills. Just make a video. Take out your phone. We've given you plenty of examples of the sort of thing, something that you're working on, something you want to say, something as simple as what Mark Donny McLeod did with his light bulb, or even more advanced to what Andrew Norris did with puppets. It's entirely up to you. The world is your oyster, and we'll share them here on the channel. Thank you very much. If you've enjoyed the show, do give us a thumbs up and give us a like. That would be fantastic. Very much appreciated. And we will be back. Thanks to Julia and to Judith for moderating and making sure everybody is behaving themselves, which is very important. Thank you for the phone calls to Gabriel and to Sean for ringing in. It's very kind. And to you for typing out there and keeping the chat room alive, and for everybody else watching. It's all a lovely community, and we, again, as I say, it's a great thing that what we're doing here, especially as some of us are frightened to go out, and we don't want to switch on the biased BBC anymore, so we just watch a few YouTube things, and if they're live, so much the better. That's it. I will be back on Monday with another live show. Tomorrow's Halloween. Be careful out there, mind the trick and treaters, and tune in on the Bald Explorer, for there is, I believe, a mysterious story heading your way. That's been great fun talking to you. Take care, look after yourselves, have fun, and don't forget, if you enjoy what I do and you want to make a small donation to the cause, I'd like to rinse out as much money from those poor pensioners, and because I could get myself a proper job, but I choose to do this and keep you amused, which I think is more valuable to everybody. So there we go. That's it. Thank you very much. Look after yourself. Until next time, arrivederci and goodbye. Goodbye.